Hello friends, hi, welcome. Today I found a very disturbing case that I just couldn't stop thinking about. It's a honor killing and it's regarding a young woman that was 7 months pregnant with her first child, and she unfortunately was taken from us too soon just because she was dating someone that wasn't able to handle her being from a different faith and background. He decided to take matters into his own hands, which led to the tragic case of Saga. I tried to find as much information as possible regarding today's case, but I couldn't really find much background information on both the victim in today's story and the perpetrator. So I'm just going to get straight into the details of what has happened in their relationship, and it's going to be a short video basically. So trigger warning, today's case isn't easy to listen to because of a loss of a child, murder, honor killing context and things like that. So if you're sensitive to this kind of information, I suggest that you click off this video. If not, then continue watching. So in April of 2023, a young woman called Saga Elneborg, I believe that's how you pronounce her last name, was found strangled in her apartment in Sweden. Her mom found her deceased body just laying on the ground, and shortly after that, emergency services were called. But before we get into all of that, we need to know who killed Saga. Well, it was no other than her boyfriend, 22-year-old Mohammed. They were dating for about 2 years, nothing out of the ordinary apart from the fact that Mohammed was hiding his relationship from his family. And this is because Saga was simply from a different faith and a different religion. So Mohammed was a Muslim and Saga is from a Christian faith. And because of that, Mohammed felt, I don't know how he felt, but he would keep this relationship a secret and he would go to great lengths to keep it that way. Based on my own opinion, because Saga was pregnant, it put a lot of pressure on Mohammed, and I'm not making excuses for him, but because there was a baby on the way, he completely panicked and became more withdrawn as the weeks and months went by. And because of that, he decided, for whatever reason, instead of breaking up with her, he decided to commit capital murder. So let's get into the details. So why did all of this unfold? Well, let's talk about Saga for a minute. She was 20 years old. She was excited becoming a mom, and she was liked by everyone. She had lots of friends. A lot of people respected her. She was, that kind of person that you could tell anything to. She was very warm and inviting, and she just was this person that anyone would want to be friends with. She had no enemies. She hardly caused any problems. She was very family orientated. She was very close with her sister, her mom, and she especially loved her boyfriend, Mohammed. At the time of her death, Saga was carrying a boy that weighed about 1.7 kilograms, and she was planning to name him Isaiah. She was taking baby photos and sonogram pictures and pictures of her buying clothing, pictures of herself holding her baby bump, things like that. She was completely in love with being pregnant and becoming a mom, and she was very excited in her new chapter of her life. However, Mohammed felt different. So why kill your girlfriend? Why go to great lengths? Saga was very excited to move in with him, and he promised her that they would live together shortly after they graduate. So as soon as the graduation happened, Mohammed was kind of being standoffish. Saga was asking him, why are we not moving in together? I am getting more and more pregnant. I'm ready to move in with you. I'm ready to become a family. And Mohammed seemed just withdrawn, very distant. He was practically practically ignoring Saga, and pressure between the pair was just getting greater and greater and greater. So from my research, I could tell that Mohammed was getting more and more distant the closer Saga was towards her due date. And because of that, they were just bickering and fighting over little things. And Mohammed used that as an excuse to distance himself from Saga. But he just was plotting her murder, in my opinion, and that's what he ultimately does. Saga realized that Mohammed was keeping their relationship secret. Apart from a few friends and Saga's family, nobody else knew about their relationship, and she was just pressuring Mohammed like, oh, introduce me to your family, we're gonna have our own family, what is the problem, and so on. But he just kept pushing her away. He kept giving her empty promises here and there, and he had no intention of introducing Saga to his mom, dad, and other family members. It wasn't going to happen. He already made up his mind, but he kept stringing Saga along for some reason. So this is where things get quite devastating for Saga. Mohammed was ignoring her messages, and she was texting him things like, you're not being yourself, why don't you want to talk to me, and so on. And Mohammed completely broke down, and he finally told her that he isn't ready to be a father, he isn't ready to have a family, and he doesn't know how to support either of them, yet alone a child. So Mohammed simply asks her for an abortion. But how is she going to have an abortion if she's in her third trimester? She's very heavy, the baby's at full term, and he's asking her now to have an abortion. So Mohammed found himself in a very difficult situation, and he just simply decided to take matters into his own hands, and this is by strangling his girlfriend to death. I don't know if it was premeditated. However, he simply didn't want to have a family, and he simply didn't want to disappoint his family. So this is why he did this. So this is how Mohammed murdered Saga. He simply messaged her saying that he wants to see her. She was more than happy, and he meets her at her apartment somewhere near the capital of Sweden. Once he arrives, I don't know what exactly happened, but things completely went AWOL. He decided to grab her by the neck and suffocate her by using a lamp extension cord. He murdered his girlfriend and the mother of his child by using a lamp extension cord. She really did try to fight back. She really did try to save her own life, and unfortunately, Mohammed simply overpowered her. So from the crime scene photos, you can clearly see that there was a sign of struggle. The bed sheets were pulled, furniture and everything was thrown around. You can just tell that she really was trying to fight for her life. He wanted to erase the whole relationship as if it never has happened. It was just a frenzied attack that led to the death of his girlfriend and his unborn son. It is truly heartbreaking. It is something I could not understand. I don't get it. Like, why would he do this? Just so many family annihilators like that. But as I said, it's a honor killing, and the influence that his family has on him is what he's using as motivation to commit these murders. What frustrates me even more is that Mohammed was lying to Saga, saying things like, I'm going to introduce you to my family, and he said all of this the night before. So she was more trusting, more able to listen to him because they were bickering and fighting. So he lured her by saying things like, I'm going to introduce you to my family now, and we're going to resolve all these issues that we have in our relationship. But instead, he walked into her house just to murder her, just to get rid of all evidence that they were together. And he honestly, he thought he would get away with it. For my research, it is just so stupid, because this guy really does scream, I'm a coward, I'm a coward, I'm a coward. And he honestly does believe that if he kills his girlfriend, nobody would know, nobody would come looking for her, and he would get away with it and just live his life as if they were ceased to exist. It was clear that Mohammed was was living a double life. Towards his parents, he was a saint. He valued his religion, his culture, but on the other hand, he was dating someone that he didn't really have that much in common with. And this girl just winded up being a victim of an honor killing. And till this day, even after everything that has happened, he completely denies that he has murdered Saga and his son. What I don't understand is that why would he link the two, like his family's reputation and his relationship? Why would he link the two to the point where he was too terrified to even tell his family, I am dating someone that is of a different religious background and so on? Like, I don't understand. What would have happened to him if he did introduce Saga to his family? I guess we'll never know, because Saga doesn't have that chance to live another day because of him, because of his insecurities, because of his ideologies and so on. So the next day, so Saturday 29th of April 2023, her mom, Saga's mom, decided to pay her a visit because she couldn't reach her the night before. And to her shock, as she reached the apartment, she was knocking, calling for Saga, and she got no response. So she decided to turn the handle and open the door, and to her surprise, the door was unlocked. So she walks in the apartment, and as she reaches to the bedroom, to her horror, she sees Saga laying on her back with a tabletop on top of her face, completely mangled with bed sheets. As Saga's mom approached closer to her daughter, she realized that Saga was sadly pronounced dead, and she called the police straight away. As she called the police, she told the police officers that she was living with Saga on and off throughout her pregnancy, and she doesn't understand who would do this and what has happened. She simply was crying and wailing and telling the officers that she's dead, and shortly police officers arrived. Saga's mom also called Saga's sister, Julia, and told her exactly what she has found, and she has told her daughter that Saga is sadly found dead in her apartment, and she doesn't understand who has done this and why. So to their disbelief, they were completely distraught, as they should be. And I just could not imagine getting a call like that. And these are real people, and this has actually happened, and not too long ago. So unnecessary, like I said, and it's just deeply upsetting. So as Saga's mom was looking around the apartment, she found a knife by the hallway, and then she could hear in the kitchen that the tap was running, and it was just gushing with water, and you can just tell that someone tampered all over the apartment, especially like finding her daughter dead, obviously. But other than that, I think things were being moved around in the apartment and everything was in odd places. So she kind of took note of that. After finding Saga deceased in her apartment, Mohammed shortly got arrested because he was the person of interest. And when he got arrested, he simply denied everything. He said, I didn't do it, I have nothing to do with it. He just denies. So in the indictment, prosecutor Elizabeth Anderson wrote, Mohammed killed Saga by placing a lamp extension cord around her neck, and the cause of death was asphyxiation, as well as placing a lot of pressure on her trachea, which limited the blood supply to her head. It's like an awful way to go. It was premeditated for sure. She also added in the press release that Mohammed did all of this just to conceal the relationship and to restore honor and respect to his family. So he thought by killing the mother of his child, this will restore the respect and reputation to Mohammed's family. This is what his mindset is. This is what he thinks is the right thing to do by undoing his sins, basically. So this is how he is thinking. I would like to remind you guys that Mohammed did say he's going to introduce Saga to his family, and that was the night before the murder. So she really did have high hopes to save her relationship and to keep her family together. That was her intention this whole time. As someone that's in love would want, you know? She just wanted her family to stay together. And he, with malicious intent, decided to murder her And that's how I view premeditation, is when you plan this ahead of time. This case, it's just so sad. I feel so bad for the family. My heart goes out to them. I always end up asking myself why. Like, why do this? You know, Saga was messaging Mohammed saying that everything is going to be okay, you know, things like that, but he simply didn't answer. Most of her text messages the days leading up to her murder was left unanswered. So prosecutor Elizabeth Anderson also mentioned that when Mohammed walked into Saga's apartment, he violently strangled her. So it was a crime of passion, in my opinion. He just really wanted out. And it was a frenzied attack, like I said. And because of that, he was charged life in prison without the possibility of parole. Mohammed's family had nothing to do with Saga's murder, according to the state prosecutor. They didn't influence him to murder his girlfriend and his unborn child. The family was just as shocked as Saga's family. The jury deliberated not for too long, and Mohammed is confined life in prison without the possibility of parole, and that's how it ended. Mohammed's relationship came out regardless. So if you want to talk about bringing shame to your family, being incarcerated for the rest of your life is one of them. These cases are extremely frustrating because Saga didn't do a thing wrong and her life was taken too soon, and it is just so sad. Anyways, you guys let me know what you guys think of today's video. This one was quite a short one because I couldn't find much information regarding both parties in today's story. So please let me know who you would like me to talk about next week. Till then, be safe, stay hydrated, and I'll see you guys next Saturday. Thanks, bye.